Today's match plays out inside the massive NRG Stadium in Houston. Even with the retractable roof closed, the severe Texas summer heat and humidity bleed through, turning the pitch into an absolute furnace that will drain every player over 90 minutes. This chart shows exactly where these two teams stand in Group F right now. Sweden is sitting comfortably at the top with 3 points after thrashing Tunisia 5-1, while the Netherlands trails with just 1 point following a messy 2-2 draw against Japan. If these two teams play to a draw today, Sweden holds on to that top spot and practically guarantees their way into the knockouts. For the Dutch, splitting the points creates a massive problem, dropping them into a do-or-die scenario for their final group stage game. Between the physical toll of the heat and the immediate threat of falling into a do-or-die scenario, this match dictates the tournament's trajectory before the final round even begins. On the field, you have two entirely opposing philosophies colliding: a slow, methodical passing game against rapid, lightning-fast counterattacks. Ronald Koeman has built the Dutch side to dominate the ball. His players maintain strict positional discipline, moving the ball constantly to patiently suffocate the opponent's defense until a gap opens up. Graham Potter approaches the game entirely differently. He organizes his Swedish team into a tight defensive block near their own penalty area, specifically designed to win the ball back and immediately launch fast, direct sprints toward the other goal. The Netherlands brings decades of World Cup pedigree and an elite technical roster, carrying high expectations to control the match. Sweden arrives with a highly optimized setup, perfectly tuned to their current hot streak. You have to decide which model holds up better over 90 minutes, total control of the ball, or a specialized system built specifically to punish the team trying to control it. Pushing 10 players forward guarantees you leave empty grass behind them, and a counterattacking team wants nothing more than empty grass to run into. The Dutch rely heavily on Frankie de Jong and Ryan Gravenberch to dictate the rhythm. They sit in the center of the pitch, distributing passes and managing the tempo of the entire match. This animated diagram breaks down the tactical shape. To keep passing options open, the Netherlands has to push their defensive line up past the midfield line, compressing the play into the opponent's half. But look at the bottom half of the pitch. By moving everyone forward, they leave 50 yards of completely unguarded territory directly in front of their own goalkeeper. Sweden knows this, so they pack their players tightly around their own penalty box. They let the Dutch have the ball, practically inviting them to step even further away from their own goal. Once the Dutch commit forward, Sweden springs the trap. They win the ball and launch long, immediate passes over the top to isolate their elite forwards, like Alexander Isak, against backtracking defenders. The catch for Sweden is physical exhaustion. Chasing the ball without holding on to it drains the legs rapidly, and if those long passes don't connect, they have to sprint right back into their defensive shape. The Netherlands will hold the ball for most of the game, but Sweden's system ensures every single turnover turns into an immediate foot race toward the Dutch goal. That foot race puts incredible responsibility on Virgil van Dijk. As the anchor of the Dutch backline, he has to win one-on-one battles against two of the most in-form strikers in Europe. When a defender is sprinting backwards, they lose their physical leverage. The Swedish forwards don't have to overpower Van Dijk. They just need one quick, precise touch to slip past him in the open space. We saw this exact vulnerability in the opening round. Japan capitalized on minor defensive errors to erase a Dutch lead twice, proving that even a world-class defense will break if left exposed often enough. The math adds a heavy mental burden for the Netherlands. Knowing they absolutely need 3 points to feel secure, the players will naturally feel the urge to press forward and force a result. If Sweden scores early on a counterattack, that urge becomes desperation. The Dutch would have to abandon their patient passing game and commit even more bodies into the attack. Desperation creates chaos. It pulls players out of position, widens the gaps in the defensive line, and makes Sweden's counterattacks twice as dangerous. Everything we've discussed so far gets multiplied by the environment. Running full sprint transitions in the Texas heat drains oxygen fast. This chart illustrates the fatigue trade-off over time. As the match passes the 60-minute mark, physical exhaustion starts to outweigh tactical discipline. Look at the projection for Sweden. Because they lack elite options on the bench, their starters have to play longer. Their fatigue level spikes sharply late in the game, making it nearly impossible to maintain a tight defensive shape. Now look at the Netherlands. Koeman can pull multiple elite players from his bench. They can bring on fresh legs to rotate the midfield, keeping their physical intensity stable while maintaining their technical edge. The Dutch roster has spent years navigating high-stakes international tournaments. Sweden accessed this tournament via the Nations League repechage, and their squad is far less accustomed to grinding out results in late-stage World Cup conditions. If the game is tied at the hour mark, the environment severely punishes Sweden. The attritional reality of the heat and squad depth heavily favors the Dutch down the stretch. Whoever holds the ball more today won't automatically win. The victor will be the team that successfully forces the opponent to play at an uncomfortable pace. Sweden wins by relying on their strikers to punish early errors, allowing them to retreat and wait out the humidity. The Dutch require patience. Van Dijk must erase those early counterattacks, keeping the game level until Koeman uses his bench to overwhelm the Swedes late. The atmosphere in the stadium plays a role too. Houston has a heavy presence of Dutch supporters, and that massive wall of orange can provide a crucial emotional lift when the physical fatigue really sets in. Because of these specific victory conditions, playing for a draw is a perfectly viable tactic for Sweden, but a massive strategic liability for the Netherlands. Advancing out of the group stage isn't the finish line in an expanded World Cup. Where you place dictates your entire path forward. Scraping by in third place forces a brutal knockout matchup against a powerhouse runner-up from another group. You survive the group, but you immediately face a title contender. The Netherlands carries the expectations of a federation accustomed to deep, dominant runs. They need a decisive win today to prove to their fans and themselves that they are still a top-tier European power. For Sweden, today represents an open platform. A strong result proves their modern tactical setup under Graham Potter is real, elevating the profile of their entire national program. This 90-minute tactical clash decides everything. It determines the Group F standings, tests their physical limits, and sets the trajectory for the rest of their tournament.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video for more content. See you in the next video.